Hello and welcome to the Everything Art Podcast, episode 21. If you don't know already, we're doing a series where every single day we're going to read a chapter of Matthew and I'm going to post a video. And today we are doing chapter 16. I'm really excited for it. Don't mind my allergies if I sound a little stuffy while reading or whatever, because my allergies are really bad. But anyways, so chapter 16 is about Jesus rebuking the Pharisees and Sadducees. Simon is given a new name, which is Peter, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And Jesus also continues to prepare his disciples for what is to come, which is his death and resurrection. So, open your Bibles and let's get to reading. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and asking him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said to them, "When it is evening, you will say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red, and in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O you hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of the times. A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it but the sign of the prophet of Jonas." Or Jonah. That's what he's talking about. So we talked about this earlier, like in an earlier chapter, about the sign of Jonah and what he's referring to. So Jonah was in the belly of the whale for like 3 days, and so will the man will die and be resurrected on the third day. That's what he's referring to there, and that's the only sign that they will receive. Like, oh dang, he is the Son of Man. He is the Son of God, Son of Man, something, and he is who he says he is. And he left and departed. He left them and departed. And when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. And Jesus said to them, "Take heed and beware of the leaven or yeast of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees." And what he's talking about here is like the sinful nature of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and their bad teachings too. They're hypocrites, so they're gonna teach like false teachings and everything, and Jesus says refrain from that, beware of that. And in the Old Testament, like leaven and yeast was referred to like sin, or like the growing of sin in a way, and like sin and impurity. And through the New Testament, we can see that Jesus switched that symbolization to using yeast and leaven as a symbol of the growing of the kingdom of heaven. And in this verse, he goes back to the old symbolization of leaven and yeast as sin and impurity. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, "It is because we have taken no bread." Which, when Jesus perceived, he said to them, "O you of little faith, why reason among yourselves, because you have no bread? Do you not understand, neither remember the 5 loaves and 5,000, and how many baskets you took up, neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many baskets you took up? How is it that you do not understand that I speak it not to you concerning bread, that you should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees?" And then they understood how he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the teachings of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And verses 9 and 10, Jesus refers back to the miracles that he did. So, like, the disciples are worried that, they brought no bread and everything, but Jesus is trying to boost their faith. Like, didn't you not see the miracle that I did? I provide for you, and I provide more than what you need and everything, so you have nothing to worry about. Verse 13. When Jesus came to the coast of Caesarea Philippi, I think, he asked his disciples, saying, "Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" And they said, "Some say you are John the Baptist, some Elias, and some Jeremiah, or one of the prophets." And he said unto them, "But who do you say that I am?" And this is where Jesus gives Simon a new name. And Simon Peter answered and said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." So right here, it Simon Peter knows who Jesus is. It kind of hits his heart, he knows. And Jesus answered and said to him, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah," or whatever that name is. "For flesh and blood has not revealed itself to you, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say to you that you are Peter," and Peter means rock, so he's like the firm rock in the group. "And upon this rock I will build my church. The gates of hell shall not prevail against it, and I will give to you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." So, most of the time from here on out, if Jesus refers to Peter as Simon represents his old ways now, with all his fleshly desires and, how he lived before Jesus. And Peter represents his new ways being created new through Jesus. And I want to tell you a sort of story about what happened to me too, because I was in my old ways and everything, and then Jesus saved me, and I felt my title was anxiety because I dealt with anxiety so much. I looked at myself as anxiety, but over time, God taught me that I'm not anxiety. He gave me a new title, a new name, and that's a child of God. And, whenever I look at myself as anxiety, God helps me to remember that I'm not this anymore. I'm not my old ways. I'm new, created through Jesus, and I'm a child of God. So, I just thought that would be something cool to share to help encourage you guys too. Verse 20. Then commanded his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. From the time forward began Jesus to show to his disciples how that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and of the chief priests and scribes, and be killed and raised on the third day. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "God be merciful to you, Lord. This shall not be unto you." But so right here in verse 22, Peter's like, "No, this is not going to happen to you. You can't have this happen. We're not going to allow this to happen." So Peter right now is in a mindset where he kind of thinks he knows better than Jesus. And Jesus knows the will of God and what he has to do while he's on the earth. So Peter is kind of getting caught up in his old ways. And in 23, but he turned and said to Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan. You are an offense to me, for you are not mindful of the things that be of God, but those that be of men." So he said, "Get behind me, Satan," because Peter right now, just with what he said, is kind of leaning towards the way of Satan. He's not trusting God. He's not follow. It's hard to explain, but he's closer to following the ways of Satan in this one small moment. So right here, Jesus sharply rebukes him and just tells him what he's doing is wrong, and kind of brings him back to the right place in a way, right mindset. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. Whosoever will lose his life shall, for my sake, shall find it." So we are nothing without God. If so, whosoever will save his life shall lose it. So if you hold on to, like everything in this world and try to go your own way and live your life without, Jesus, when Jesus comes back or when your life is over or something like that, you're going to lose everything, because everything in this world is temporary. So why would you live your life trying to gain the whole world? Oh, that's the next verse. When you're going to lose your soul in a way. You should try to gain your soul, even if it means losing this world and losing your life and creating a new life with Jesus in a way. For what is a man profited if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? Or what shall a man give exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. Verily I say to you, there be some standing here which shall not taste death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. So verse 27, I'm pretty sure, I believe Jesus is saying, when it says, then he shall reward every man according to his works. He's not saying you're saved by your works, but once you're saved by Jesus and everything, faith allows you, faith encourages you to do good works for God and everything. And so you will do good works when following Jesus and everything like that. But obviously your works aren't what makes you saved. But when you do get to the gates of heaven and everything, people will be rewarded by what they have done on earth too. It's not that they'll be saved, it's that they'll be saved and they'll be rewarded. So that's sort of what I'm trying to say. And verse 28, it says, some people will not shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in the kingdom. So people are going to live their lives, get so caught up in this world. They might live the best lives ever, but when Jesus comes, this world is temporary. Everything in this world is temporary. So they gathered up the world just to lose it. And, they shall not taste death until Jesus comes. So, yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. That is verse 16. There's a lot of good stuff. Chapter 16. There's a lot of good stuff in this chapter. If you have any questions, anything to add, you know what to do. Just comment it down below. And I pray you guys have an amazing, blessed day today. Amazing, wonderful day. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow for chapter 17. My bad. Bye.